Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next podcast. It's Tech Insights with Alaa Badokhon. Hello, Alaa. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, Tim?
Well, fine, thank you. Well, fine, thank you. So, Alaa, can you tell us about your career journey?
First of all, I would like to actually thank you for this amazing opportunity to be your guest at your podcast. A bit about me. Well, it's kind of sort of, I would say, an exploratory journey of mine ever since I actually graduated from high school. And I had in mind that I wanted to explore computers. I wanted to explore computers. I wanted to see how this thing works, uh, top to bottom. How does it connect to the outside world? And myself, I was born in the beginnings of the internet era, so I kind of lived the beginnings of it, the dawns of it, until uh, so I wanted to explore a bit further about computers. So uh, for my bachelor's, I did a computer engineering program at King Abdulaziz University, and this gave me the full perspective of how actually a computer system is built from the ground up, sort of, but in a general sort of perspective. And also, it gave me a bit of insight of modern technologies and how those can come about. And this was about the time when I graduated back in 2012. I got my bachelor's in computer engineering. So I actually began my career then. I actually, during that time, though I actually did a senior project in IoT, I didn't find any career opportunities for IoT. So I went on and explore what was already available as career options in the market. So I started my career journey as a network engineer with an amazing firm that has many branches across the kingdom. And I was involved in all of their network configurations and design and engineering and so forth. This gave me a bit of perspective of what happens in the real world. But for me, it actually wasn't enough. I had to actually expand a bit, and that's when I actually went on to pursue my master's degree, also in the same domain, computer engineering. And after I finished my master's degree, I had this kind of mentality that I actually need more. I need to explore a bit more in that domain. I need there is potential opportunity in that domain where I can actually innovate and research and develop and so forth. And since 2019, I actually joined the research and development industry in the kingdom. I in that domain, I actually began as a junior research engineer, and I gained experiences joining lots and lots of projects, multidisciplinary projects and domains, until I got into a level where I can grasp an operational kind of strategic kind of skills and mentality towards these kinds of projects. How to actually you can transform those projects into the real world.
Fantastic. Really nice there.
Yeah.
So, what motivated you to pursue advanced studies and research at Case Western Reserve University? And how was that influenced your career?
Um, Basically, it was that intuition of mine. I actually needed uh, to explore a bit further. I because as a network engineer, I was doing very well. I was getting certified, uh, Cisco certified, and multi levels. I used to get a very good recognition of what I was doing at my workplace. But for me, actually, it was still stuck in one sort of paradigm, network engineering, and also stuck to one, I would say, I don't want to limit it like that, but it's sort of like a one brand kind of, you're working towards one appliance or one system, I would say, or ecosystem of products and services. And for me, I didn't didn't feel my need for like innovation. I saw potential opportunity to innovate, and that's when I received the scholarship to pursue my higher educations. And basically, I went on and studied. I selected case as my program of choice, computer engineering at case. It was quite interesting because it's a private university which actually focuses a lot on research and focuses a lot on solving real life problems, very close to different kind of domains. And it gave me the feel of like academia as well
Yeah.
as the feel of like R&D, so to speak. I joined multiple research groups there, and it was quite a journey for me. When I graduated, I still was motivated to continue pursuing the same domain and find an opportunity in the same industry.
Cool. Okay, let's kick off with the hot topic of the day, AI.
Yeah.
Do you think this podcast might someday be replaced by chatbots like Cortana or Siri?
Well, sure. This is actually, this is an interesting question. Yes, but you have seen it. Probably everyone have seen it, where some YouTubers or TikTokers, they do these kinds of pranks, where they prank a call center with an AI operated, or actually in some cases they prank AI with AI. I have seen it in multiple kind of videos. They do it with multiple services as well. For example, Google and Siri, or Alexa and Siri. And those actually bots, they actually communicate with each other and they dialogue just like we do. They negotiate as well. They negotiate deals and etc. And but regardless, in terms of not ranking, in terms of like production, different companies have been thinking about transforming their call centers to be completely AI operated. This is from the business side. And from the consumer side, other services have been trying to automate different kind of services for consumers. Like, for example, Google back in like I believe 2017 and 2018, they launched a new service where they have this AI uh, bot which can call restaurants and call clinics to reserve an appointment for you. So I believe this technology has been there for quite some time, and right now we are actually seeing it maturing more and more, especially with the rise of like I would say ChatGPT and ChatGPT alternatives, and in general, I would say AGI, or artificial general intelligence. This is basically enabling a new actually paradigm of like AI,
Yeah,
which is like very close to you and helping you, and might actually affect the market as well.
cool. Thank you. So I know that one major enabler of AGI is quantum computing. Is this a topic that we have to worry about?
Well, quantum, yes, we have to actually worry about that, but not in the sense of worrying. It's more of the sense of like adapting to it. we have to actually understand what quantum does. Quantum is actually a different paradigm of, has enabled a different paradigm of computing. And it's actually faster, 100 times, even 1,000 times faster than our current computing capabilities in the same form factor of like power and compute form factor. And as we speak right now, it's still in development, and different companies have already their own, I would say, quantum computers, which are still have been in beta for quite some time now. They are still trying to make sure that this technology is stable, make sure that this technology can be can reach to a portable level. Because right now it still can it only works in confined and very specific kind of environments. But nonetheless, it affects different sectors. It affects the computing sector in general, where it's actually AGI is one major player, and it affects also cybersecurity.
Yes. Since you mentioned cybersecurity, are we really secure when we browse the internet these days?
Well, as we speak right now, no, we are not actually secure. This is a fun fact and real fact, and the reason why, because there are many middle services or man in the middle services kind of that actually can sort of steal your personal data when you actually log into a service or download special kind of software to your machines, or even like smartphones. This can open up different kind of wormholes to your appliances and to you, actually, to your personal data and personal information. And once actually once a hacker gets to your personal information, they can actually do many things.
Yeah.
For example, if they got your national ID, they can log into your national services and try to hack some of the services there, or get some benefits out of it. How they can actually get, for example, SMS codes and SMS notifications. They can already, if they are already installed some like a Trojan or a malware inside your phone, they can actually steal any kind of SMS. So you have to actually be worried about your access to the internet and what kind of information you offer, not only to internet services, but also to customer services in general, or any kind of physical attending services that you actually attend and exchange your digital information with. For example, some restaurants or some pharmacies, they inquire that you give them your cell phone in order to store your invoices, etc. Some also bookstores or stores, actually, in general, they do this. You have to be cautious about who actually, what information you give and who you are giving it to.
Sure.
This is very crucial, so that you don't actually go and fall for even like social engineering traps.
Cool. Thank you so much. So, okay, so how can we protect ourselves and our private data on social media?
Well, first of all, you have to be aware of your data. You have to be aware of what kind of services that you are accessing, what kind of websites. You have to validate that website. You have to make sure that this is the one that you are intending to use. When you receive an email, you have to make sure that this email that you're receiving is basically an authenticated email from the same source that is supposed to send you an email. Like, for example, you have to know for a fact that this email is at google.com.
Yes,
So usually some hackers, they have some sort of abbreviation of Google that looks like Google, and
yeah.
for example, GOZOL and so forth. they kind of trick your eye into thinking, oh, this is Google, but no, this is not actually Google. This is a hacker that tries to be
Yes.
imitating Google services. And this applies to any kind of services that you are using. A social, a social, a socially hacking engineer can actually understand what kind of services potentially that you may be using, especially in the social media domain, like for example TikTok, Facebook,
Yeah.
and Twitter or X now, and they can actually get your email from different sources on the web, and they can actually try to send you very targeted emails
Yeah.
that feel like it's actually from the same service, but it's not.
Yes, yes. So on the topic of improvements, I see the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia going above and beyond in activating its vision in an unprecedented and innovative manner. Could you share your expert insights on transformative digital innovations and how are they coming about?
Well, from my perspective, since I actually sort of like began my career in like network engineering and infrastructure, I see that one major enabler for digital innovations is infrastructure. So if the infrastructure is actually mature enough, you will see digital innovations thrive all across domains, all across the sectors. And when it comes to the kingdom is actually quite mature in that domain. Um, uh, like I believe there was a statistics back in 2022 where we reached um, in Riyadh alone, like 97% of Riyadh regions were covered in 5G.
Wow.
So, and in terms of internet speeds in general, the kingdom is leading globally in 5G. Not only that, but also it's double the the global average of
Wow.
5G connectivity. So um, once you actually have a stable and modern or accommodating infrastructure, you can see many applications thriving all across. You can see applications thriving in the governmental sector. You see applications thriving in the startups and the startup scene as well. Some applications had to do with gaming. Some applications had to do with AR and VR. Some applications had to do with health and AI. So yeah, for me, it's actually thriving, and we are still in the early stages of that. And we'll see what kind of achievements we will reach within like the next couple of years.
Fantastic. So, what role do you think emerging technologies like IoT and AI will play in the economic diversification efforts of Saudi Arabia?
So IoT is one of the major components of like smart cities, and smart cities is one of the main to achieve an ecosystem of smart cities is one of the main targets of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia within the next couple of years. So IoT, one of the main, like I would say, sort of uh, scopes of IoT has to do with the fact that IoT targets all of the stack components when it comes to digital and when it comes to technology in general. So IoT works it begins with hardware,
Yeah.
and hardware has a stack by itself when it comes to like the systems and the system on chip and the chips in general and the connectivity when it comes to wireless. And then you have to have some sort of like integration of that ecosystem. And after that, you will have a cloud of some sort, an infrastructure or backend cloud, where you have to uh, integrate those data in the cloud in order to serve different kind of applications and services. So, and then comes the applications and the end user perspective and the business perspective after that. So, as you see, as you know, multiple market segments, IoT affects multiple market segments in this kind of in just one IoT application. So, and smart city, as I mentioned, smart cities in general is one of the main targets when it comes to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia initiatives.
Oh, cool, cool. So, how is KSA focus on innovation influencing the startup ecosystem in the country?
Well, as as I would also like carry on and emphasize on like continue after the technical sort of like infrastructure was overlaid and prepared. The digital uh, ecosystem will thrive in terms of like startups and innovation.
Yes.
And aside from that, multiple entities within the kingdom, including private and public, are actually incentivizing incentivizing different kind of startups at different levels, at different stages of their maturity. So aside from incentivizing those kinds of offering these kinds of incentives, whether financial and others, there are different kind of services that public sector would offer, such as
Yeah.
sandboxing and
Yes.
the national lab ecosystem. So sandboxing is basically that allows you to try your innovative technology
Yeah. Yeah.
aside from having it sort of like compliant from the beginning,
Right.
regulatory speaking. So sort of bypassing regulatory until you actually test the market and test everything to see what kind of regulatory items that can be affected or affects your business, and then maybe actually work with the government sector to see if actually different kind of regulatory can be sort of adjusted or in some cases allowed for you to actually bypass. But and different organizations, as I mentioned, public sector organizations, they are offering this kind of service.
It's really good. So, how do you see the future of IoT and AI evolving over the next decade?
So IoT, if you are talking about IoT, IoT in general is like I would say a joker of all of the technologies that can be integrated with. And AI is one of them. Actually, AI can work as by itself or can work integrated with IoT. In terms of IoT and AI together, they are hugely affecting the market when it comes to innovation. Right now, if we look in the startup scene and different kind of businesses that already have a market segment in their kind of services that they're offering, they're actually trying to add different kind of innovations to their solutions. And innovations in their solutions, it's basically either adding an AI component to make it a bit more convenient to operate or maintain their offered service or solution, or IoT in general, basically to automate some kind of service on the physical, sort of like cyber physical paradigm.
Sure.
And robotics is also involved in that domain as well, where it it's from my perspective, it's a bigger and moving IoT component where it actually does kind of automating by itself. It can do a kind of service to the public, or it can be in the industrial domain as well, where it integrates with different industrial components and automate those.
Cool. So, what role do you believe emerging technologies will play in shaping the future of urban transportation?
So, in terms of urban transportation, one major contributor to urban transportation is mobility.
Yes.
Mobility can come to different kind of, when we are talking technology of mobility, we are talking on like different kind of levels. We have the software level of mobility where we can actually automate and plan ahead different kind of services that deals with mobility, or the physical space where we can actually add different kind of components to uh, to achieve a better mobility. As I mentioned earlier, one example is like robotics, or in the urban mobility is like autonomous vehicles. And autonomous vehicles, it's globally known now that it's actually going to
Yeah.
have a market by its own. So I believe in the next 5 to 10 years, you'll see uh, robotics or autonomous taxis where you just sort of like an Uber but driverless. There is no
Right.
human being driving that.
Sure. Sure.
And this brings a question where do we actually, after 10 years, will we ever need to buy our own a vehicle ourselves? This brings the question. So it will be, I believe, in the years after that, we will be dealing with micro mobility,
Yeah.
more or less like personal mobility, like um, drones or scooters, basically. In that sense.
Cool. So, we've talked about personal security threats. What are some of the most significant security threats that organizations face today, and how can they mitigate these risks?
So when it comes to like business organization, the most I would say the biggest threat that they face is actually the classical one, which is phishing with PH. So
Hmm.
imagine that you can actually hack an entire organization just by an email.
Yeah.
This is like very a huge problem, and businesses are trying their best to actually mitigate that either by awareness or by installing different kind of solutions in their premise to filter out um, those kinds of phishing
Sure.
uh, or malwares in general. Probably the next one comes after that, which is like personal, I would say, has to do with targeted personnel. So if you are being targeted and you are, for example, a CEO of the company or a system administrator at that company, if you are targeted, then this means you will completely be social engineered. Your data will be, your crucial information will be well known by the hacker, which is, this hacker is trying to target you for quite some time now, try to study you, try to understand your social interactions, and see what you are doing. Probably actually even think about what kind of passwords that you might be locking your systems with in general. Yeah. So this is the second thing when it comes to organization and security. And unfortunately, there is little much that one can do in terms of a business perspective. Then it becomes the issue of like awareness again, where
Yeah.
people again have to be aware of their social presence and what kind of information is actually available to the public.
Sure. Sure. So, how do you balance the need for innovation with the necessity of maintaining robust security measures in technology development?
Well, this is a very important question. So, if you recall, I actually mentioned the idea of sandboxing. Um, but sometimes even sandboxing actually can be a bit limiting, especially when it comes to crucial components like cyber. So you, in terms of cyber fortifying your system or your innovations in general, it will take you some time in order to validate those. So take your time to make sure that all of your innovations are actually secure, especially if your innovations are targeted to a huge number of audiences.
Yeah.
Um, uh, don't don't overestimate things or sort of like overlook things. Just give it that ideal kind of attention, and inquire for experts as well in the domain. You have to actually make sure that your system or innovation before launching has already underwent all of the testing needed from the user side and from the scalability and security sides.
Sure, sure. Thank you. So, can you tell us about your role as the founder of Four Dots and what inspired you to start this venture?
Thank you for asking that. This is a very recent venture that I actually involved in, and it deals with one of the most crucial problems that we are facing here, especially in Riyadh. It
Okay.
deals with mobility. So
Right.
when we are talking about mobility, um, um, there are different factors in order to. Uh, I want to actually solve mobility, but what kind of solutions that you are offering, and what kind of services, and what kind of problems that you are facing. In terms of problems, um, traffic for once. Um, there is a huge exponential kind of traffic problem in Riyadh, and you have probably have seen that in person when you actually came in the
Yeah.
different events here in Riyadh.
Yes.
And the reason why, because already as we stand, we have um, a huge number of eligible drivers here in Riyadh. It's actually about around 6.5 million uh, people, both actually men and women. And we had the introduction of women as drivers back in 2016,
Yes.
2017. It's around that time.
Yeah.
So um, it actually completely shifted the way we are actually thinking about traffic. It's again exponentially changed that. We are actually seeing the change in terms of like traffic and delays in the traffic is more. And even though, like for example, in Riyadh, like the highways and the roads are made like to accommodate that, but still the
Yeah.
change is crucial. And many many different government sectors and their partners in the private sector, they are trying all solutions, and many of them are actually working. Many of them are actually successful in terms of like traffic management. But still, from the user perspective, we see different kind of problems. So when you come to the attraction point, uh, sometimes I cannot find a parking spot. So when I'm at home, I want to actually plan my day ahead. So I want to plan my experience ahead of time. I want to plan my journey today ahead of time, including my appointments, my events, my movies, my movie
Yes.
ticket.
Mhm.
So uh, we developed this ecosystem where it's like a different kind of smart parking that we have developed, where it's more or less interactive with the user. It's sort of like hybrid. You can actually reserve the parking, or you can just use it as when you go there. From in terms of business perspective, they don't have to worry about vacant parking anymore. And in terms of the user, I get the comfort of reserving the parking from home. I get the comfort of reserving my experience today, regardless if whether it's like a movie and dinner and everything. I have sort of a full plan ahead of me, and I arrive sort of like I get treated like an auto valet kind of service, where I get to park my car in a very specific parking that I actually reserved ahead of time, and I get to enjoy the experiences. And so expanding that business, um, it's uh, it's quite actually challenging, and we are at the early stages where not only it's not only about the hardware and the business, but it's also about the user and how different services that we can offer to the user and different kind of integrations and planning. So it doesn't have to be movies or uh, events, or for example even like dinner. It can be an appointment where I get to reserve my dental appointment, and then I get to park my car there. I don't have to worry about parking in the dental clinic, and so
Yeah.
forth. So you can think about like an ecosystem where the user benefits from uh, the automation of like planning their journeys ahead of time and integrating that all in a seamless service. And from the business side, exposing those services in a kind of luxurious feeling, or kind of complete kind of services, where it doesn't have to be just for one restaurant or one appointment or one event.
Oh, that's very, very good. I think we need that kind of technology in London too.
Yeah.
So yes, fine, thank you. So what advice would you give to younger professionals looking to enter the fields of IoT, AI, and cybersecurity?
Well, that's I would say this is one of the things that they have to really see the market and really see the trends of the market. So right now, if they are just getting into this domain, they have to see what potentially could become after 5 years of the of graduation. Like, so basically, they were, if they will just enroll right now in a cybersecurity program for
Yeah.
bachelors, for a bachelor's degree, they have to see the market trends and the different opportunities that they will actually see in that domain after 5 years, and so forth. So
Sure.
regarding those three domains, as we speak right now, some of which are actually already maturing in that domain, and some of which is actually also being automated in that sense.
Sure.
So in terms of cyber, right now, there are different kind of service providers, like large service providers like Cisco and other cybersecurity appliance companies, which they are offering different kind of services atop of their appliances and solutions, where it actually can automate all of these cybersecurity challenges, which were, I would say, 5 years ago, you needed like at least 5 or 10 associates full time, and rotating in shifts, for example, as in a fashion of like a network operation center or a SOC. So right now, I see that becoming less of a trend. I see the market is more focusing on skills of AI, which actually impacts those kinds of sectors, automating these kinds of services. Um, in terms of cybersecurity, so I see that if you are committed, you have to actually specialize in a very specific domain, and you have to actually again see the kind of uh, trends and companies offering these kinds of services, and try to align with them or get certifications from them. From in the perspective of AI and IoT, this is still, I would say, at its early stages, which is quite good.
Yeah.
But you have to actually also be wary, because the same thing which took, I would say, a team of 10 to establish for AI, for example, in terms of like machine learning and data warehouses and
Yeah.
AI models, etc. Right now, you can automate that, and this applies to, I would say, in general, uh, software developers. Right now, I can actually inquire a full project to be written, and ChatGPT can give it to me, for example. So, and other services are actually automating these kind of developments, low code or no code kind of services, which you can actually subscribe to at a very small amount, a monthly subscription kind of. And this just, goes on and on. So in terms of AI, again, it's actually disruptive, and you have to actually take really good consideration when you are selecting uh, your what you want to do after 5 years. So I don't think that from the educational sector is keeping up with that trend. So you have to actually yourself keep up with that trend. You have to actually be on the lookup and see what kind of trends and services can be offered. For example, one of which I see is very promising. It's quantum.
Yes.
Quantum is at its very early stages right now.
Mhm.
Though there are not that much of, like, I would say, computers that you can buy and test quantum capabilities or quantum developments,
Yeah.
you can actually simulate that. You can actually simulate a quantum computing environment in your PC or through cloud service providers which can offer
Mm.
that. And see for yourself what kind of products and services that you can actually develop on top of it, and what kind of optimizations that you can do for AI, IoT, and cybersecurity kind of products and services. So this is a huge market which is still untapped. This is from my perspective.
Thank you there. So finally, what are your thoughts on the future of work in all the topics and the context we've been talking today?
Well, in terms of technology, it's actually, for me at least, when we implement technologies, we are implementing it in the means of prosperity. So we are targeting different kind of prosperity sort of objectives, be it SDGs or be it like conveniences to to the public, or conveniences also to the business and more profitability and so forth. And I would say it's forthcoming, and it's coming very fast. And I see a very prosperous uh, future
Yes.
implementing technology, different kind of technologies. I'm just talking about, like, when I'm talking different kind of, like, um, uh, when I'm talking about SDGs and, like, in business, this is only two of those. We didn't talk about health as well, and
Yes.
health is a major concern. We have to actually see or predict what kind of health problems that we might be facing in the future in order to mitigate that in advance. Uh, and technology will help in that as well. But one crucial thing is change, accepting change, and adaptability. We have to be able to adapt, and as users, we have to make sure that we are not like really resistant to change. We are not grumpy when it
Oh,
comes to change. We have
yeah.
to adapt. I don't say fall completely, but say, like, sort of like adapt gradually. And in terms of technology developers, also we have to think about making the users adapt to that technologies. So we don't just rush completely to the beyond state of the art. We can just gradually go and test and see those kinds of technologies mature up until they reach a stage where it's already accepted and already tested at scale. And actually, this is one of the cases I can actually compare that when it comes to autonomous vehicles and self-driving. So it's actually right now it's moving in a very good pace where it's still at a very small scale, and adaptability and accepting it is still, people are resisting kind of. They still want to drive, etc. I wouldn't say still, it's actually from the energy perspective it's still not efficient. It's moving towards efficiency. So this is a good example of transition where we actually have to see and have to adapt to change in terms of technology.
Completely. I really, really enjoyed today's podcast, and I wish you the best. But definitely would love to do podcasts with you in the future and look at your journey, especially with your products.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.
It's
Really
relevant.
appreciate again having me, and wish all of us a prosperous future.
Thank you so much, and have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.